Il Divo. Thank you so much for coming in today.
How you doing?
How are you doing?
Thank you so much for sparing the time to talk to me, because you guys have really come from all corners of the earth to make this group happen. For those of you who don't know, it's a Simon Cowell creation. Now, firstly on that, Simon Cowell doesn't like anybody. Simon Cowell doesn't have anything good to say about a single person on the earth, yet he's solely backed you guys as the next geniuses that are going to be the biggest thing in the world. How much of a thrill is it, firstly?
We're not scared about what Simon is or that people can see in Simon. I think we perceive him as Mr. Cool more than Mr. Nasty.
You know, the easy thing for us is we didn't know who Simon Cowell was. We had never heard of that guy. So we just went for an audition. We had heard of through some agency or something, and been presented a project, and the guy behind the desk was a certain Simon Cowell. Nice to meet you. Okay, and that was it. So we didn't have that problem with a Mr. Nasty or whatever the people call him here. So
he's certainly a legend, and he's got a certain reputation for not particularly liking anybody, as I said earlier. He's very honest, but he has backed you with his name. He's gone on TV programs to promote you, and he's given you the launch that not many people get. There aren't many managers of any record companies that will put their name to an artist, and you've been brought together from the most professional parts of show business, really, from musical theatre, from opera. Most groups these days, frankly, are rubbish. They can't sing, they might look right, but they're not good performers. You guys are guaranteed to be able to perform because you've done it for so many years.
It's certainly very cool to be with these three very talented men, and for as far as Simon Cowell goes, he's had this idea for something like 5 years or something. He heard the three tenors. He thought, wow, he's heard Andre Bocelli and Russell Watson and these things that here are great voices, but they're not really singing songs that he connected with. So he thought, what if we got 4 guys together with these kind of voices that sing the songs that I like to hear, that, and he feels that, he feels honestly that he's just the common man. He doesn't know a whole lot about opera. He doesn't know a whole lot about voices. He just knows when he hears good singing, he knows what he likes. So, he says, marry these two together and we're going to have an unstoppable product. And so far, it seems like he's right.
Were you nervous taking this job? Did you think this could be just one of those boy bands that come and go, and this could ruin the rest of your career? Because you're all professional entertainers, either, as I say, in musical theatre or opera. And to be in a flop boy band could have been a big risk. It could have been like the real life Producers the movie, couldn't it? It could have been a huge flop. How did you feel about that?
We were nervous just because, it's not our country, so we just arrived in a foreign country for us. So we were a bit scared about how people are going to perceive the voices, the fact that we're not from England, the fact that we're singing different languages, and it's like a dream.
We've got all kind of natives from all around the world. We've got USA here, David, and congratulations on your new president, by the way. It's nice that you've got him back in to ruin the world for another 4 years. But don't get me started on that.
Well,
how did you feel about that one, or do we better not go there?
Politics and music don't really mix most often.
We've got David, who's from America. We've got Sebastian, who's from France. We've got Urs, who's from Switzerland, and Carlos, who's from Spain. How are you settling into England? How are you finding Great Britain?
It's fantastic. The only thing is the weather. I miss my son. Not my son. I miss the sun. Not my son that I have a son. I miss the sun.
I mean, it must be a complete culture shock for all of you because you're so different. I mean, your lifestyles. How do you find food to eat? I mean, there's 4 different types of eating. I mean, burgers for the Americans, of course. You love those. And, we've got France, we've got the cheese, we've got the Spanish.
Paella for Spanish.
Of course.
So we all just go out for Indian food.
Yeah. Something new.
We have better Indian food here than I think they do in India, according to research. So you'll be fine there. David, thanks for coming in today and talking to us. First of all, something that I'm fascinated by is your work on Broadway, because you're in La Boheme, and I was so thrilled to see you in that over a year ago. I didn't know who you were at that point. Let's talk about that show to begin with, because it was the most peculiar show to be on Broadway. It had subtitles, the gaps and the scene changes were literally 5-minute breaks. That must have been odd for Broadway, was it?
Well, actually, it was so far the first and only opera to be on Broadway. And I think that contributed to its initial success was that it was something so different from everything else. I mean, they put on Phantom of the Opera, Les Mis. These are very operatic, but they hadn't had quite a proper opera on Broadway as of yet. And what Baz Luhrmann did was to take something that, for the most part, is considered fairly inaccessible. The people who wouldn't necessarily go to the Metropolitan or New York City Opera thinking it's a bit snooty or whatever.
How nervous were you taking this job? Because Simon Cowell put this idea together, not as a boy band, but you are essentially a boy band because you're all men, boys. That must have been nervous because that has a bad rap in this country. People don't like boy bands anymore, it seems. They don't sell records. I don't think you're anything like a boy band, but that must have made you nervous originally in case the record company wanted to turn you into that.
Well, to be honest, when I was doing my audition process, turns out that I'm the only one who even knew who Simon Cowell was, being from America and having seen American Idol, a couple episodes from the first season. But I didn't even know he was associated with the project until after I had already agreed to be in the project when they asked me. The thing that sold me on it was the songs and the music. They played it for me, and I listened to it, and I thought, okay, we've got pop songs with 4 full-on voices. This is something that could be really fantastic, and it never even crossed my mind to think about it in terms of a boy band. That's not how they sold it to me. They sold it as an opera crossover project.
Let's move on with your voice and talk about that because it is phenomenal. I cannot believe you could be trained to be as good as you are. One could only presume that this is God-given. You were born singing.
My parents and my sisters, we would have very, very loud rows now and again, with each other, the family fight where we would end up screaming our guts out at each other, and maybe that had something to do with it, I don't know. But when I find something that I lock into musically, and it's not always the case. When I sing a piece, it doesn't always come off sounding the best. If something doesn't strike a chord within me and I like the piece, for example, when I was in college and I decided to go and study classical technique because I didn't know what I wanted to sing, whether it was jazz or if I was going to sing musicals or if I was going to sing, who knows what. I wanted to get a classical technique to be able to make it so that whatever I was going to sing would, have longevity. So it wasn't, when I was in school, I would be singing these different pieces for a recital or whatever, and some of the pieces I liked and some of them I didn't. They were chosen by my teacher, and there was, I listened back to these tapes, and there's a marked difference between the ones I like and the ones I don't. And the ones I don't was like, you just kind of raise an eyebrow and go, huh? And the ones that I did like, I really, invested my heart and soul to bring this passion to my voice. And so I realized at that point, it was really the opera that made me go, oh yeah, I want that. And I would really work on it with 110%. And it's the same really with these songs. When they played these songs for me, I thought, okay, this is something that I can really go after and sink my teeth into.
David Miller, thank you so much. Before you go, I have one request, and then I'm going to play Mama, which is a beautiful song. Would you be willing to sing me one line of one of your favourite songs, just so we can hear your voice and know that it's you?
Yeah, well, from the beginning lines of Mama is, Mama, thank you for who I am. Thank you for all the things I'm not. Forgive me for the words unsaid and for the times I forgot.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, David Miller. We'll talk to Sebastian next here, talking to Il Divo with an exclusive hour-long program. Thank you.
Thank you.
We've now got Sebastian Izambard with us in the studio. That was a song called Mama, and I just think that's a beautiful song. It's track 2 off the new album. And Sebastian, I don't know whether you particularly enjoyed that song. I just think it's just so pure and natural, and that's the amazing thing about your group. All the voices just seem to blend together to form one voice.
It is quite amazing. Everything sounds natural in this city. All the voices fits very well and blend very well. And Mama is a very good way to to dedicate a song to our mothers.
Now, you're the exception in this group that you were self-taught, and I find that unbelievable because you have such an incredible voice. The only thing I would say to you is, though, you must have been born with some God-given talent. How did you do it?
Self-taught is also a different way to work, actually. But I did work really hard to do what I'm doing, because also I was composing, so I've been playing guitar and piano every day and composing, singing. So it's not different than going to school. It's just you have to do it yourself.
Why did you choose opera? Why did you not choose to be in a Westlife, for example, a boy band? Or why did you not choose to be a solo artist that sings in the clubs? Why this type of music?
Very good question. Actually, before that, I was signed in a major company, and I've done my first album when I was 24 in France, and as a solo artist, and I've done my second album, and I stopped doing this album for that project. I accept this project because I tried one time a musical, and I felt that was just amazing doing that, and I felt my voice can do it and work pretty well. So when I heard the songs and I heard about the project and the challenge, I felt I have to grow up. I don't know how to translate this, but it's get a maturity inside, and I don't know, I felt very comfortable. And when I was young, I was singing lots of opera and Caruso, different things.
Why would you risk then going from being you, Sebastian, the solo artist, to being in Il Divo, where there's four guys that could fail? I don't think you will fail, but there's a risk there, isn't there? When you're yourself, you've only yourself to blame. But if this doesn't go right, you've jeopardized everything. Was that a risk for you?
Life is always a risk in any case. Even if I still continue doing my solo career, when I do my third album or second album, whatever, there's nothing is written and say I'm going to succeed. But it's just for myself, just to be honest with myself. I got bored when I was doing that, and I felt like I needed something was inside of me boiling, and just like, you need to change not changing my voice, but just to grow up. And I knew I could feel something growing up, and that's the reason why I chose this project.
How difficult has it been joining a group and being part of four equal parts in a group? Do you know what I mean? Before you were the star of the show, now that you're just a quarter of it, how has it been fitting in with everybody else? Particularly because everybody's from different parts of the world.
It's not easy. You have to eat your ego inside of you and thought a different way of a solo career. So, but you learn from each other in a band. After you realize that you are four people, but just make one person actually, and everything changes in your mind. And it's like probably playing a football match. You share the thing, and you just make a goal.
Are you enjoying it as much as you sound as if you are?
Oh yeah, a lot. And trust me, when we're on live performance, when we do live performance, it's so much better. Yeah, we enjoy it a lot.
Tell me about musical theatre. You've been in that. That's a discipline that I've never been able to understand, that you're doing 8 shows a week, the same show, the same order, the same lines, the same songs. How do you keep that fresh? I mean, with this, you're talking to different idiots like me all day long. You're going and you're seeing different places. You're performing in different venues.
Right.
But with musical theatre, it's a very different kind of skill, isn't it? Not to get bored. How have you coped with that?
I wasn't bored because, first of all, the person who wrote the music was just amazing. He's big in Europe. He's called Riccardo Cocente. He's the guy who wrote Notre Dame. I know you had that in London with Garou, with big singers, Canadian singers, and French. And the guy who wrote that, Riccardo Cocente, had the idea of doing this musical called The Little Prince, which is very well known in the world. It's a beautiful story, and for the same reason, when I heard the songs, I thought, I have to do this. It's just brilliant, it's magnific. So it's not boring when you have a good story, good songs, and beside you also acting. And we were speaking in this musical, which is different from the musical that we have in France. So everything in my life has a challenge, something new. So I guess with Il Divo, I feel great about that because everything is new every time.
How surprised are you by what has happened in the last few months with this group? I mean, it is remarkable. You have captured people's imaginations like very few, if not any other group have ever done at this stage in your career. How does that feel, and did you expect it?
I didn't expect that at the very beginning. I thought we could do something new, But I've never thought about, is this going to work? Is this not going to work? I thought just for myself, as I say, to be rich inside, not rich in my pockets. I had to do this. I don't know how you translate that, just the feeling of it. And I've never expected that it's going to be so big. And, well, it's not so big now, but it seems to be pleasant in the ears of people. And I was quite scary also because, it's not my country. As you can notice, my English not so good.
You're doing fine. You can speak better English than I can, actually.
Oh, no, I doubt it. And also because I love so much English people. I love London. I love Britain. And I thought, is it going to be okay? Because we're singing in different languages and I'm not from that country, So I was quite scary and nervous, but I hope you're going to love it and I hope you can enjoy it.
Joining me in the studio now is Urs, who is just, a very good singer, but I have to say I don't like you. Can I be honest?
Yes, of course.
The women in this building just seem to be flocking to see you. You are obviously a very attractive man, and it just makes me feel ugly. And I am quite offended by this. I mean, you could have been ugly just to make me feel better.
I could have come in with a bag over my head. I actually wouldn't mind that. We're in a radio studio anyway.
Let me get my producer Tarquin to get you a bag and put it, because it's just distracting me, frankly. I'm trying to conduct an interview and I've got ladies looking through the windows who just want to see you. I mean, you must be able to woo women like nobody else.
I could be happy.
Well, I'd be happy if I looked like you, because I'd suddenly have every lady wanting to see me. When I walk in a room, ladies start throwing up in buckets. What a relief it must be for you that you're a good-looking chap and you can sing like an angel. It's remarkable.
Well, thank you very much. I'll say, honestly, you're really embarrassing me.
Embarrassing myself. You're from Switzerland and you've had an amazing career because you're in a rock band, yet you sing so wonderfully classically. I mean, what's going on then? How do those two parallel?
That's actually quite funny. I started in this rock band when I was about 17, just because there was a local band and they needed a new singer. And I said, I'd like to do the job. Seems nice to me. And we just started. We first performed actually in Swiss German, our rock songs, and then later we switched to English. And I was writing actually a lot of the songs. I mean, I was writing the lyrics, and some of them I would never show to somebody with my high school English. But well, it was a great time, That was really in the 80s, where bands like Bon Jovi and Europe and people like that were in. So we just kind of imitated their music, We dressed kind of in that style. We had a great time. But once I finished high school at about 20. That just came kind of to a natural stop. And then I started classical studies. I first only studied as a music teacher, just generally in schools. And apparently when we had conducting lessons and stuff like that, my teachers all told me, you got a beautiful voice, why don't you do professional voice studies? And I actually thought, okay, why not? And that's really how it went. And I started studies, and I finished the teacher's studies and carried on with the voice. And it's like with all these studies, I think the further you get, the more you see what you don't know.
I see.
So you go on, and I moved to Amsterdam when I was about 25, and continued my studies there. I had good teachers over there, and kind of found a lot of professional work also in Amsterdam and around in Holland. Did a lot of oratorio concerts, did some operettas and operas, and basically I did about everything you can do in classical music. And then after I had spent about 7 or 8 years in Amsterdam, and then this came along, and I actually kind of felt like Amsterdam is a great city, but I'd like to see some more of the world. And then just this flew into my house, kind of, and so yeah, why not going to London? Must be a great city too. And what I've been told about what the idea was with this whole project, how big Simcoe and BMG wanted to make it, I thought this is a once-in-a-lifetime chance. You just have to grab it.
When you went to that audition, did you ever believe that you would be sat here now as part of the group with an amazingly successful CD and 3 new best mates out there?
Well, it wasn't actually that important to me, you know. It was for me more the adventure. You know, I had a good life before that, but classical music is around, you know. And I just thought to myself, let's try that, you know. It's going to be totally different from what I have done so far. And if it doesn't work out, I just go back and do auditions again and sing oratorio and do whatever I can and have a nice life again.
Have you always been able to sing like a bird? I mean, is it a God-given gift that you woke up as a baby and you were always singing? Did your mother tell you that you always had this gift?
I think, you know, my both parents, they have really beautiful voices. They didn't do anything with it professionally. My father, he used to sing musicals, but only local productions. But they both sang in the church choir, and after me studying voice for a couple of years, I actually discovered that especially my mother too, she has really an amazing voice. And I think I was kind of born with my voice. Yeah, of course, in my studies I had to learn technique, which I'm still working on it. You know, it's an ongoing process for every musician. But I've been gifted, sure.
This job must be a dream job, really. You're being taken around everywhere as the new big stars. You're looked after. I think you've got amazing things ahead of you. How excited are you sat here now, knowing what could happen?
Well, I think, you know, really the great thing about this job is that if it works out, we gonna see the world, you know. I mean, that's just amazing. Traveling around... Even traveling around UK, what we've done so far, and we've been in Sweden, and we've been in Norway, and we've been in Rome for a photo shoot, we've been in Slovenia for the video shoot, and I just do that for my work, you know. That's one of the things I enjoy the most, actually. And it is amazing, and I can't tell you how excited I am about what could possibly happen.
Urs Bühler, it's a pleasure talking to you today.
We've already spoke to David and Sebastian and Urs. Carlos Marin from Spain has got the most remarkable smile that all the ladies tell me make them want to go and hug you, kiss you, fall in love with you, want to marry you. Your image, have you worked hard at this?
What? It's about the smile? No. This is something that I just born with this.
But you must know that when you're on telly, your smile takes up about 3/4 of the screen because you have just the most wonderful, engrossing kind of smile.
Yeah, there's something who comes from your inside, from your ghost. Yeah, to outside. And yes, I love so much to give love to all the women and to all the people.
Oh, really?
So
well, there's a challenge for the new album, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're setting yourself up there. Carlos, it's so nice to talk to you because I've spoken to the other guys in the group and I truly believe this album is remarkable. The sound that you guys have got together is something so special. To say that you've not lived together for years, you've not known each other for years, you've put this together. How lucky was it that your voices just blended together? Was it luck or was it in the genius of Simon Cowell who brought you together?
Well, the thing was that obviously there was some part of Simon. Yes, what he did was looking for good singers. Yes, he was going around the theaters to finding good singers. And I think at the end, he found it because he made a very big auditions. And the thing that we blend so well is because we are four good professionals, and we had a good career behind, and we have sung a lot of years on stage. So I think maybe this could be one of the reason.
As I was saying to David earlier, I have immense respect for you because you've worked in musical theatre, which is a very different discipline from this, and you were in Beauty and the Beast, which is a wonderful children's musical. There aren't many of those around. Which part did you play in that?
The Beast.
Oh, did you really?
Yes.
And did you do that spinny thing at the end?
Oh my God. And yes, at this point it was the most dangerous. I cannot tell here the trick, obviously, but there was one point that I was taking off the security pin. And if you don't take it off in the right place, 4 meters.
At the end, the beast transforms, and he literally spins around 360 degrees in the air.
It's crazy.
Middle of the stage, 20, 30 feet off the ground, and it's the most remarkable spectacle to see.
Absolutely.
And to do that every night, I mean, how safe was it then?
Yeah, one of the day I broke my ankle in one performance. But I must finish the first part, and I remember that I was just finished, and as I'm falling down on the floor, and they was take me to the hospital. I was 6 months out of order.
Really?
Yeah, it was very bad.
I mean, why then did you choose to leave musical theatre? And obviously, you were at the top of your game. To get that role, you've got to be very, very good. Why did you choose then to lose your identity as you as the star and come into a four-piece where you're all the stars?
Well, what I did before this is I led the musical theatre because then I was only concentrating the opera for this last years, for this four last years. What I did is I don't know, because at the beginning I wasn't very interested in this in this project because when I did my audition I was singing in Dublin an opera concert. I remember when my manager told me, look, we sent some tape for the BMG record company and they chose you to make some audition in Dublin, and they asked me to stay there one more day, and then after my audition they asked me again, could you stay 3 more days? I said no. Are you available next day? I said no. But at the end, do you like to do this project? I said no. But then yes, a few days after they called my manager. He called me and he told me, look, they asked me if you could go to London to meet Simon Cowell, and I said, well, Simon who? And because he was absolutely unknown in Spain. So when I arrived in London and I met Simon Cowell, and he played me this fantastic music, then I thought, well, maybe could be good to let the opera here, because when you begin with the opera, it's very difficult to make the right choice, because obviously the opera directors they classified everything so much. If you do pop things, you cannot do opera. If you do musical theater, you're not a serious singer for the opera. So then I thought, oh my God, what am I going to do? But at the end, I said, okay, let's cancel everything. Let's do this fantastic group.
Were you scared then that this could be a big flop and you'd never get work again as a serious either musical artist or as a classical artist?
Yeah, obviously it's always a risk. Yes, I was thinking about this risk. But at the end, I thought, I want to grow up a little more in my professional career, and I want at the end, what I want is to be a singer. Well, it doesn't matter if I sing opera. It doesn't matter if I sing a little more pop. And also the kind of music that we're doing is just something that included in one box everything. It's a little of pop, because we begin the song in a very pop way, and then we finish in the most operatic way that you can find. So it's a mix of everything, and I thought, okay, if I do it, because I want to be a singer, so let's do it.
Carlos, thank you very much.
Thank you, it was a pleasure.
Il Divo are with us today here in the studio, and thank you guys so much for spending the hour with us. It's been a real pleasure talking to you all. This is a remarkable album. Some questions just to finish with. How are you getting on as a foursome? I mean, are you enjoying being together? Are you enjoying doing the press? How is it?
We have our ups and downs, I mean, we have disagreements professionally, and we need our times on our own, but we get along very well, I would think, and it gets better and better. We get to know each other, you know where you have to leave the other alone, and where you can joke with somebody, and better and better.
How do you have to look after yourselves to keep fit enough to sing these songs? These are not easy songs to sing. I mean, are you having to be careful what you eat, how you exercise, who you go near?
Sleep.
That's important, is it?
Normally, but not at that time, because we're doing so much promotion that we don't have some times to rest. So
lots of sleep, lots of water.
Yeah,
exactly.
Have to go to the gym.
Yeah.
Make love.
Oh, really? Really? So making love helps you high notes?
Yeah, absolutely, yes. Make your voice bigger.
Oh, really? I just thought it was tight underpants. Well, that's curious. You see, you Spanish, you just can't stop yourself, can you?
I cannot stop. What can I do, Latino?
It's amazing. Right, so we've got sleeping with women, and we've got sleeping generally. That's important. Water and the gym. What about food and your diet? I mean, you guys, you're so good looking, and you are.
Thank you.
I mean, it must be remarkable to be you. What kind of attention are you getting from the women? Because it's all different age groups as well, isn't it? You've got the grannies and you've got the 20-year-olds.
Yeah, that's especially very funny when you got the grannies all over you.
No, you make us shy now. We don't dare to answer to these questions.
Well, no,
it's hard to say we're good looking or not. Or how do we do that?
Was it part of the idea, though? I mean, they didn't want 4 guys who could sing like you but look like me, did they? Let's be honest. I mean, they needed good-looking guys to make this thing work. It was very important.
No, it was just luck. Just luck.
Thank you, Mama.
From my point of view, I think it's everything included. I think if they were going to sell this idea, they had to have the total package. They had to have the voice, have to have, be attractive, have to have a certain personality that would blend with the other guys, because, if we did, fight all the time, then, we wouldn't be able to create the music that we do and blend together like we do as a group. It would just be 4 Divos instead of 1 Divo, Il Divo. And so, I think it was a lot of factors that weighed into putting this group together.
Let's be honest with you, though. If you look like me, I wouldn't be in the group, would I?
Why not?
I would have to say, you'll have to ask Simon on that point.
That Simon was not looking for that at the very beginning. He just heard the voices. So if you had to be in the group, we were going to have to hear you singing. So maybe you're going to sing a little
Maybe
thing?
you sing for us?
No, I can't.
Come on. Don't be shy.
I had my voice trained. They put papers down under it. I can now reach 6 octaves. I've had my legs stretched. I mean, I'm very musical. I was orchestrated as a child. And
he's on a roll.
I'm not even Jewish. I thank you all. Listen, guys, it's been a real pleasure seeing you, and thank you so much for coming in. This album is going gangbusters in the charts, and it deserves to. I think you're going to be huge. I've never made a program before for the network with people who are virtual unknowns, but I think you're going to be huge. Your sound is just so together, and that's so rare. Congratulations on your talent and abilities.
Thank you to you, because it's rare to find someone who loves music like you.
I really do.
As a
And
journalist.
my favourite track on this is Nella Fantasy, which I just think is one of the most beautiful songs anyway, and you've really done amazing justice to it, and congratulations again. Il Divo, thanks for talking to me today.
Thank you very much.